Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining in today's session. Today's session of E-Meet Your Design and Fashion School is with Pearl Academy Bangalore. As you know, this is a series that we have been doing. It's called E-Meet Your Design and Fashion School. The idea is to interact with the top management of each school. Keep your options open to good private design and fashion schools, and save money by applying only to a few schools that you should consider, right? So that is the idea of organizing this series. I've already done a session on private design and design schools to consider in 2022. Um, for those who would like to see this, I'll share this link with you, and you will be able to watch this if you've not watched it before. But today's session is with Pearl Academy. Pearl Academy has campuses in Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai, and Jaipur. If you'd like more information about Pearl Academy, there is a link which leads you to the page on DQ Labs or DQ Edge, and and if you'd like to apply to Pearl Academy, there's an application link there as well. If you are attending the session on Zoom, I'll share it in the chat. And if you are attending this on YouTube, it is already put into the description of this webinar. So, one second. Right. So glad to have the team from Pearl Academy here. We have Dr. Sayogita Chedda, who is the dean of the school and the director of the school in Bangalore, the campus in Bangalore. And I've known Dr. Sayogita personally since quite a few years now, and I think she's been doing a fantastic job at Pearl Academy in terms of the programs that they have and the way they deliver the programs. It's one of the reasons why we think it's very important that she's one of the reasons why we think it's important that you consider Pearl Academy actually. And I think that it's very important that you attend this webinar and ask your questions as much as possible. We have the top person from the Bangalore campus here. Of course, she will be able to talk about the other campuses as well, in case that's what you're interested in. Mr. Lakshmikant, thank you so much for having this organized on behalf of Pearl Academy.
Thank you, Mr. Dion. Thanks a lot for this opportunity.
Right. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and y'all can take it from here.
Thank you, Dion. And thank you for the introduction. And yeah, we've known each other for many, many years. So I think that's something it goes without saying. And good evening, everybody. And really thank you for being a part of this session. I know it's 5 o'clock in the evening. People have lots of stuff to do. But I'll just talk to you very briefly about Pearl. And then I'll take all the questions that you have. As Dion mentioned, I am the campus director at Pearl Academy, Bangalore. It's one of the places that I love. I mean, sorry, just one second. Sorry, 1 minute. I love Pearl, and I think if anybody joins Pearl, I think we just start loving this place because it's such a beautiful place to be in. Our campus is on Residency Road, and can you see my screen? 1 minute. 1 minute. Yeah, 1 sec. Yeah. Just going to share my screen. Yeah. Sorry, sometimes technology really baffles me, but having said that, okay, so I'm Dr. Sanyogita Chadda, basically a fashion person by profession. I've been with Pearl for many, many years now, and very proud to be the campus director at Pearl Academy, Bangalore campus. I'm just going to take 2 minutes to just walk you through what we do, and then I'll leave it open for question and answers. We have 5 campuses. We have 3 big schools. We have 2 campuses in Delhi, 1 in Mumbai, 1 Jaipur, and our latest one in Bangalore, which is now going to be 2 years old this year. Our placement record has been 98% throughout the pandemic. We have 4,400 plus students across our campuses, 30 plus creative programs. I think our pedagogy is unique in the fact that I think every student gets to have an international exposure, international experience. We have 200 plus of the most amazing, talented faculty from across industry. So they're not just great academics, they're also industry professionals who've done their own businesses, they've worked in amazing companies, and they bring that whole thing to the board. Alumni support is very different in the fact that we give alumni support for 5 years after a student leaves us and goes away. So we've had students who've passed out from our campuses, didn't want a job when they passed out because they had something else in their mind. They've come back and we still offer them placement help and placement support. And I think that is one of the unique features of Pearl Academy. We have amazing scholarship. We have an amazing scholarship program. There are different bars of scholarships, but there are scholarships for most students. We have a 40 plus creative programs, and we have artificial intelligence and design thinking for every student who comes to us. I think our pedagogy is what sets us apart and that's why AI is such a big part of our pedagogy now onwards. Some of our awards that we won, we have the most creative institute. We've been judged the best design institute in India by ASSOCHAM from 2016 to 2021, and that's a long run to be. We're the number one fashion college in India for many, many years. We have excellence in creative and performing arts. This is done by FICCI 2021. We're the number one for innovation in creative education. And I think this was when the pandemic happened in 2020. And I think the way we were able to just move online without too much of a hitch, I think that is a big booster for Pearl. And we've been judged that by the Adobe Education Leader Summit 2020. Just to give you an idea of some of the recruiters who come to our campuses, and this is for all our campuses across every Pearl Institute, whether it's Jaipur, Delhi, Mumbai, or Bangalore is ready for placements. There are the Mintras, the Reliance, you have designers, you have companies, you have tech companies like Accenture, IBM, you have big companies like Reliance, Shoppers Stop, Gartner, even Byju's has come and taken our students to work with them, Capgemini, Puma. These are some of them, and there are many, many more that we can't put on the screen. But the beauty is that we have a huge placement percentage every year, and the fact that we have more than 500 plus recruiters who are on our campuses. These are some of our international partner universities who help our students to very easily progress from the third year to the final year in any one of these universities. Torrance Australia University, University of the Creative Arts, Metropolitan Manchester University, Nottingham Trent University, University of Derby, and all our postgraduate programs are validated by EAT in Europe. What these partnerships actually do is they give us access to the best faculty from across the globe. Our curriculum is benchmarked with most of these universities internationally. So when students go from Pearl to any of these colleges, they're able to transition without any great problem. Experiential learning is of course amazing. Our credit transfer is seamless because we are pegged, and our pedagogy and our credit system is totally pegged with these colleges, and all of this at a reasonable cost. These are some of the industries with whom we have a really close tie-up, which also help our students for industry internships, for getting jobs, for getting placements, and also for just being a part of the entire culture that you need, a work culture you need to be. So IFTI, we conducted a IFTI conference last year in the virtual platform because of the pandemic. It went off really well. Fashion Revolution is closely associated with us. We are an executive member of IFTI, by the way, which is why we were able to conduct the conference last year. Pune Design Festival, our students are always participating. We've had a great response to our students' work at PDF last year. In fact, our foundation students last year did a fantastic job, and a lot of people actually wrote back saying we're really happy with the kind of work the students are doing. Wacom is one of them that we have a close association with. Adobe. So every student who comes into Pearl Academy and joins us gets an Adobe suite once his admission is done in our campuses. Fashion Incubator, Business of Fashion, Homegrown, ADI. So the ADI chapters in various cities work closely with Pearl Academy. So we work with the Bangalore chapter, the Jaipur campus works with the Jaipur chapter, and Bombay and Delhi, so on and so forth. FDCI, which is Fashion Design Council of India, our students are able to actually interact with designers, take part and showcase their collections. And ArtStred, many of our students have taken part in ArtStred's competition and won places out there. So our three main schools, basically School of Fashion, where we have accessory design, fashion design technology, fashion design and styling, and textile design. We have UG and PG programs both in the domain of fashion. And I think fashion styling is a program which is picking up as years go by. So a lot of students opt for styling. The ones who are really passionate about fashion design, of course, opt for fashion design. But textile design is another field that we've seen a lot of people. Textile design was a slow burner for a few years, but we've now seen that there are students very excited about textile design. We have the School of Design where we have UG and PG courses. So we have product design, which is basically industrial design, and it is basically so all our design courses have a technology edge, and which is why technology is featuring everywhere. We have interior design, we have communication design, which is all about graphic design, animation, VFX, game design, UI, UX, and of course, and we have our PG courses in the same. So if you look, these are our two big schools. And then, of course, you have the School of Contemporary Media, where we have UG and PG again. So we have fashion communication, which is our media school is all about communication. So it's not just about fashion communication, but it's also about media and entertainment. And media and entertainment communication is an entirely big field, which is like a sunrise industry today, given the fact that there are so many OTT channels and coming up. And there's so many opportunities for students to actually come up with just becoming content creators or producers or directors or script writers or screenplay writers. The OTT, the entire thing that the entire OTT platform, I think, has given rise to an entire bunch of careers that were not so popular before this. And of course, we have PG courses as well in media. We also have a school of business, which is called the Disruptive School of Business. It's interesting because it's all about disrupting the thoughts of actual business. It's more on the creative edge, and we have UG and PG programs in the School of Business as well. Just to give you a showcase of some of our students' work, we have Kamachi Shukla, who had a sustainable plan to make gift wrapping papers from banana peels. She has featured in some magazines. We have Anuja Tripathi, who won the gold by the most prestigious international design awards. Anuja Tripathi, I think, is a student who worked on the patient transfer system, and she's been winning a lot of accolades. We have Chehak Malhotra, whose article is published in India Today, and she's quite a celebrity. We have Hanisha Bansal, awarded as India's best design project at the Design India show. Muskan Agarwal has been featured in Bombay Film Productions December issue. Yashika Kakkar has been nominated for the Filmfare Awards. And this list can actually go on, and I can keep talking about it. But I'm going to now stop and just talk about why is Pearl Academy what it is. These are our courses. We are on Brigade Road. We are on Residency Road in Bangalore, which is really centrally placed. Though we're a new campus, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to just talk about Pearl Academy as Pearl Academy. I think what sets us apart in terms of why I think most parents ask why Pearl Academy. I can just say a few reasons, and then we can have a conversation. I think one of the biggest reasons is that our pedagogy totally, our pedagogy keeps getting updated. Our curriculum keeps getting updated. It doesn't just happen with the faculty. Our curriculum upgrade happens with industry partners. It happens with the industry to which our students are going to go tomorrow. It happens with international partners who share with us the best practices. So our entire curriculum gets revised every year to incorporate stuff that students would need when they hit the design workforce. So when AI became big, we got AI into our curriculum. And we are the Royal College of Arts, where they have a very strong artificial intelligence program doing modules with our students. Every time we feel that there is something new which the students need to learn, our curriculum incorporates that. We also weed out stuff that we feel may not be needed by the students by going forth in the industry. I think our faculty have been handpicked. So it's very, it's not that we just pick people, we pick people who've got experience. So some of the newer fields, so we look at UI, UX, we look at game design, or you look at any of these fields, it's very difficult to get people who worked in the industry, who have a standing, and they come and teach. So we have a blend of faculty who are great academicians. They've either been entrepreneurs, run their own business, or they still do projects with the industry, and they worked in the industry, and they bring that strength to our to the table for our students. We believe that learning and teaching is beyond the classroom, and I think this is what Pearl does the best. So if you look at our entire module structure, it's pretty open to allowing master classes, to have people come and talk to our students, have interactions with people who are interesting. It's not just it's not just from the field. So we've had somebody from the artificial intelligence company coming and talking about trend forecasting to an entire bunch of students. It might interest some, might not interest some, but it just opens their eyes. We have master classes where people who run their own businesses. So we've had someone from Bounce come and talk about how he began how he became an entrepreneur, and how they began this company called Bounce, and what happens. So there are lots of examples of the way we bring people to our campus. We do this very systematically, in the sense that we ensure that industries on our campus, every week at least one or two people are on our campus, exchanging ideas with our students, talking to them, having a brainstorming session. We also work with NGOs. We also work with other corporates. We just feel that it's important that students meet as many people as possible before they make up their mind as to what they would like to do when they finish college and they go out of our campuses. I spoke about our placement record. We've had an amazing placement record, 98%. Right through the pandemic, our students were being placed. I think that was the best thing that could happen for anybody during the pandemic. We have a very, very strong, very strong portal where our students can actually log on, become members. They get new opportunities that get posted on the portal. We have a very, very strong team which actually works with our students in resume building and how do you actually apply for jobs, and handles into the entire process. So when they pass out, when they're in the final year and they're going to apply for jobs, they're not really struggling to understand how, and how do they actually go talk to people, how do you dress up, or how do you present yourself. So we help them with curriculum building, resume building, and all the rest of it. I also think the fact that technology is so strong, we try to incorporate it. So our fashion students have learned Flow 3D, other students are learning AI in their curriculum, and as and when we see newer technologies, we adapt them. If there's anything else, now I'm going to leave it open. Beyond, I didn't want to be talking too much. I thought it would be great if somebody can ask me questions, and I'll be happy to answer them.
Sure. Right. So, so for those who would like to ask questions, you're free to type in your questions either here or on YouTube as well. Right. But getting to this, so you know what? I was talking to one of our parents the other day, and they said, "Okay, Pearl Academy is new here in Bangalore. They have a new setup in Bangalore. So should we and this was relevant to with respect to the fashion design program, right? So they were saying, should we be considering the other campuses over Bangalore, or does it make any difference if they join here?"
Thank you for bringing up this question, Dion. See, I think we believe in parity. For us, the student experience has to be the same in whichever campus you are. So I think because we believe in parity and the student experience being the same, whichever campus you walk into, the student learning is not going to be different. So whether you go to Jaipur, Mumbai, Delhi, you come to Bangalore, student learning experience will be the same. We also have ensured that when we have set up the Bangalore campus, we have had faculty from Pearl who have worked in Pearl earlier who also joined us, and we have new talent on this campus. So we have kind of made sure that we made sure when we began the Bangalore campus that we knew that this was going to be a question people are going to ask because they're a brand new campus in the city. But we made sure that we actually had people who worked in Pearl earlier. So if you look at the fashion department alone, we've had Fibin and Sandhya who worked in Pearl Jaipur, worked in Pearl Chennai, Pearl Delhi, and then we brought them here to be part of this. So we've kind of had this a mix and blend of old Pearlites in terms of faculty and new Pearlites. So I think whichever campus they go to, and it doesn't matter if Bangalore is a new campus or Mumbai is an old campus, the teaching and the learning is going to be the same. And this is something that I can assure you because, I've been working with Pearl in all the campuses. So I know that the experience and the output and the teaching and the learning is just the same. So they don't have to worry that should I go to Bangalore because it's new or should I not go? I don't think that's a worry any parent should have, ever.
Right. I totally agree with that. I mean, I've seen the various campuses that I've been to pretty much all the campuses, Delhi, Jaipur as well, and Mumbai and here. So I think that the campuses are pretty good, and I've met the same faculty here as well as in Mumbai.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you would.
Mourinho, Mourinho, right?
Maurizio.
Maurizio.
He's our
I've met
dean.
him. Yeah,
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 he's
yeah.
our dean.
So
Yeah.
is he still here?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So Maurizio is the dean of the School of Fashion, and his job is to go to all the campuses.
All right.
So he's very much a part of what we do. So yeah, he's very much there, a very strong, important figure in our campuses. And because of the fact that the deans are across campuses, they are pan campus, they're not for any one campus, which is why the parity remains. So the way we do so all the way the assignments are given, the way the marking is done, the feedback system, it's the same across all our campuses. So when we have external examiners who come to verify and ratify our students' work, the same team goes to all the campuses. So they're also able to see the parity because for us, that was the big thing. That we can't have one campus at one level, another campus at another level. The student output has to be the same. And that can only be the same if there's parity in learning and teaching. It cannot be otherwise. So yeah.
Right. So just for everyone's understanding, Maurizio is from Italy, right?
Maurizio is an Italian and he's the dean of the School of Fashion. Emmanuel is from Portugal and he's the dean for the School of Creative Practice, which is our foundation year. Maurizio handles not just School of Fashion, he also handles the School of Design. So he's one dean for two schools. Two of our largest schools, dean is the Maurizio is our dean. Vivek Vaswani, the actor, producer, director, everybody may have heard of Vivek Vaswani. He's the dean of our School of Media. And we have Neeraj Paul, who's the dean of our School of Business. So those are our four deans. And each one of them accomplished in their own field and each one of them have done amazing work. So yeah, that's where we are.
All right. Cool. So there's a question from Priya V.
Yeah.
Who's asking, could you please elaborate on the communication design specializations at Bangalore?
Yeah. Hi, Priya. So when Bangalore campus was opening, we felt that Bangalore being a tech city, some of these courses would do really well in Bangalore because Bangalore has a lot of developers and a lot of people who actually work in communication design. So once you join communication design, you can either take game design or you can either specialize in game design or user interface interaction design, which is UI UX, or graphic design. And it depends upon what you really want to do. So a lot of students join us and they think of graphic design and they also move to animation and VFX. So I think the communication design the communication design vertical is really exciting. I think we have very few people in this country who actually fulfill that that entire thing, and there are lots of recruiters looking for students who've done communication design. So it depends upon what you're interested in. If you feel graphics and animation or VFX, you need to see what is your actual passion because that will drive what you do. There are students who actually want to build websites and they want to build interactive screens and stuff. Then UI UX works really well. There are those who are really passionate about gaming, and gaming design itself has become such a big field now, and it's growing by leaps and bounds. And I think lots of companies adopting game design. So I think it depends upon who's applying and what is that person's interest. I don't know whether I've answered your question, Priya, but that's exactly what it is. It's really exciting. So communication design, at least for animation and for graphic, you have to be really good at drawing because you can't. That's the starting point. Is you have to be good at drawing. The others you don't have to be good at drawing, right? But we have students who actually join for graphic design and then they feel that they would like to do something else. So the exciting thing is that once you join a design school and you get exposure, you will get to know what is happening. Like our students are now working with Oppo. Oppo's, the mobile company. So they're actually working with Oppo to design screensavers and all for them. And we threw it open to a lot of students. It wasn't just for the UI UX students. We threw it open to a lot of students. A lot of them want to take part in it. So I think when you start seeing stuff and you start doing stuff, I think students get to know exactly what they want to do. So I think Vritti has asked me a question. Vritti, I'll just tell you what is fashion styling. Okay, so there was a time when people were only became fashion designers. Fashion design was really something that everybody knew about. It was the first creative field which actually got recognition. So you became a fashion designer, right? But fashion designer is for people who love to make clothes. But there are lots of people who don't want to make the clothes, but they want to put looks together. So if you go to a wedding, you'll see somebody is deciding what the bride should wear in terms of headgear, in terms of jewelry, in terms of what kind of makeup she should have, what kind of hairstyle she should have, what kind of bag she should carry. That is what a stylist actually does. Stylists work really closely with the client to understand what is it that they would like, what is the image they want to portray, and that's called image design. So if you're trying to portray a really business kind of a image, then then your whole dressing and styling has to be business oriented. If your image is more of glamour, then that is how the stylist will actually style you so that you look more glamorous. If it is to be a very casual look, but it has to still be glamorous, like you see our page 3 actresses, when you see them, this is the airport look and this is some other look and Cannes festival look. It's all done by a stylist. So stylists actually work with designers and with the client to get the correct look and the correct image out for that person for that particular profession, career, occasion, whatever you call it. I hope I've answered you. So, up to 5 years ago, the fashion designers were also stylists. But they're not 5, about 10 years ago, fashion designers were also doing styling. Then everybody realized that this is actually a science. I mean, styling is not something you just can just start with because there are people who've done it. But today, I think styling has become specific and there's a science to it. So you have celebrity stylists, people who work only with celebrities. You have people who work only as personal stylists for certain people. You have people who work as stylists only for TV channels. There are stylists only for maybe news readers and people like that. So that kind of look is different. So stylists have now become extremely, extremely specialized. So it's become like any other thing, in like doctors or you have ENT, throat, cardiac. Stylists are exactly like that. And each one of them has a specialty and a special way of doing their work. So today styling has become a hugely important career.
Yeah, I think on that there've been I find it interesting that you'll have multiple very specialized programs, like for example the UI UX program or the game design program, and these are similar to this image
So fashion
design, right?
styling and image design is different. Yeah. So we
Yeah,
pushed that out because Dion, when St. Pearl some years ago, it was just a part of the fashion. It was like part of fashion, so extension of fashion design, but it's come on its own now. So we have people who come looking only for stylists,
right.
and our stylists are working with Amazon Prime, with Netflix, with so many of the TV serials. We have all our star studios with our styling working with all of them. So it's really interesting because they're working with magazines like Vogue and GQ as well. But they're also working on the OTT channel, on the OTT platforms. They're
Right.
working with films. So it's really exciting that there's just so much which is happening now in the world of design.
Right. So Vritti has a follow-up
Yes, Vritti,
comment.
Manish Malhotra. Manish Malhotra actually was one of the pioneers who came up and he became known as a designer come stylist because I'm telling you at that time we didn't have specialist stylists. So designers were also doing their own styling. But today, if you look at it, Kareena Kapoor has a personal stylist who will actually be doing her styling for her and so on and so forth. And all the designers also have stylists now putting up their stuff.
Right. So Priya has a question. So when and how does a student get to choose a stream of interest?
So Priya, we tell students to, we presume students basically know what they want to do when they come and join us, when they take admission with us. At least broadly, they should know they want to do fashion design or they want to do communication design because you're very differently wired for these two things. a fashion design student may not ever look at UI, UX or communication design and vice versa. It could, so the first, when the student applies, we ask them to choose their, what they want to specialize in. In very special cases, after 6 months, if a student feels that I don't want to do fashion, I want to do styling, we could take into consideration a lot of things and we counsel and then we probably help them to shift. But most often students choose it in the first year itself. When they join us, they choose what they want to do. So you might have a student who joins you and says, I want to actually do game design. But after joining you, they might say, don't want to do game design. I would like to move and do something else. That's possible. And we do help them to do that.
All right. So, Priya, I hope your question has been answered. Right. So the other aspect, right, what I found extremely different with Pearl as compared with any other school, I mean, and I must bring this out because I'd been to the portfolio showcase 2019 in Mumbai, right?
Right.
And that was like a really big budget mega event where the students got to really portray what they did.
Yeah.
And actually seeing is believing, and that's where I was like, wow, this is amazing, right? So in that sense, is that kind of a number one, if you could just elaborate on what happens during portfolio showcase.
Okay.
Number two is, would that be a platform that would be offered to students at the Bangalore campus?
Absolutely. So I'm happy you asked that because portfolio happens across all our campuses. So portfolio is nothing but a celebration of student work. See what happens is, Dion, when students work in our class, we see their work, we see them as juries, we see their work coming out. The world doesn't get to see them. Yeah, and sometimes parents also don't know that kids have done such amazing work. So portfolio is a platform where we showcase our students' entire work. So the fashion students actually do a fashion show. The other students actually put up, display their work in a way that when people come to see them, they realize their potential. So we have a lot of industry people we call for this. Of course, parents are the main people because I think parents should come and see what the students, their kids have learned in the years that they've been with us. And sometimes they're really pleasantly surprised because they probably didn't realize the kids are capable of such amazing stuff. So portfolio happens across campuses. Now, during the pandemic, we couldn't do a portfolio, obviously, because of this entire thing of the pandemic and not having people coming and stuff like that. But having said that, what we did was they did a virtual fashion show. So the students actually worked with technology to showcase their clothes. It is beautifully done, really beautifully done. But this year, hopefully, we will have our Bangalore campus should have our first graduating batch of our PG students this year. So we'll do a mini portfolio this year for PG, and 2024 is when we would do a mega portfolio for our UG students as well. So we are very excited about it because for us this is a big thing. I mean, the portfolio is a thing of pride. It is something that we are all so excited about. It's something we prepare for, and students really look forward to. And we have it in Jaipur also. We have every campus does a portfolio.
Right. So I think that's something very exciting to look forward to for everyone. Sanchit Ghoshal is asking a question
about animation. So Sanchit, we haven't yet had anyone coming to Bangalore campus for animation. I haven't had a batch which is passed out, but I've had a lot of people who are coming to ask me when the first batch of students going to pass out from animation and VFX. So there are these companies which actually do special effects and they're looking for animators. We have companies in Bombay. I don't know the names often, but I can find out and tell you the names who actually come looking for people with an animation. So Rachel, I think, is answering you, but I think people who all these small studios who work on animation are the ones who come looking for animation students. So even in Bangalore, we've had a couple of people who come and said, when your students are ready to pass out, please let us know. We'll be happy to come and pick them up. So I think Shah Rukh Khan's Red Chillies looks for animators. The Disney studios look for animators. There are lots of, India is the hub for animators right now. So a lot of movies are being animated in India currently. So we believe that that is such a specialized thing. It would be super in drawing and stuff to become an animator. Not everybody has that talent. So if you really want the names, I can check and give the names to Dion and he can share it with you.
Right. Thank you for that. Um, right. The other questions that have been coming up to us,
Yeah,
all right, has been regarding the degree being offered by Pearl Academy, and that's
yeah. That
a
is the
concern
elephant
for
in the room.
parents. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I just want to say that currently today, if you ask me, we don't offer a degree, but we enable a degree. So all our students who join us are also registered with IGNOU. So in the 3 years out of 4 years, in the first 3 years they get a degree from IGNOU, and they also get the entire Pearl certification. We also facilitate students to do their final year any of our partner universities abroad. And when they do that final year in any of those universities, they get a BA honors in design from those universities. I can't tell you today I will have a degree, but when we would share it with all our business partners as well. But currently, we facilitate a degree. So we ensure that everyone who joins us for design actually enrolls with IGNOU, and then we make sure that they appear for the exams. We help them with an entire registration, blah blah process. So by the time they pass out from Pearl, they have a degree from an Indian institute, and they have the entire Pearl certification portfolio, all the stuff that they've done with Pearl, which helps them get a job and go further.
All right. Thank you for that.
I know that is a big elephant in the room, but yeah, good you asked me, and it's good to get it out of the way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so even, what tell parents is that they can do the 3 years here and 1 year abroad, and,
Absolutely.
that
So
would be
that is something which some many students opt for. So when they come and join us, that's the first question they say that can we do the fourth year overseas? And that is a absolutely smooth progression. So there's no problem of credit transfer. There's no problem in the learning that they've done here vis-a-vis students who learned there. So there's no issue of the fact that you studied in India, hence is your learning not as much? No. So I think in terms of what they learn here is exactly what the students there have also done. So in terms of being equal, it's there, and that final year they can do out there, and they can get a degree from there.
sure. I think one of the follow-up questions on that is with the degree certificate from Pearl Academy and the degree from IGNOU, is it possible for them to do a master's in India?
Absolutely. So IGNOU is is an Indian degree. So anything to do with India, if you want to apply for a master's, you do need an Indian degree, and you can definitely go for a master's. There's no problem over that.
All right, all right. But doing that degree from IGNOU is required to
Yeah,
do that master's.
we insist you do a degree from IGNOU.
All right.
It's not just for masters, it's also because I think if you want to apply for a visa tomorrow, passport, you need to have a degree. And it's important that you have a degree any which way. We believe that you need to have that, so we enable it.
All
So
right.
earlier we were doing it with NTU, but we don't now because of laws. But yeah.
All right. All right. Um, right. The next thing I wanted to talk about is you said there is international exposure for every student. So
Yeah.
what does that mean
So
exactly?
we have something called international labs, which every course has something called international labs. International labs is I can explain to you. So we've had our students working with Manchester metropolitan students on a project. Okay, so these projects are mentored by faculty there and by our faculty, and students work together on this. Had there not been a pandemic, we were supposed to have students going out there to work with them in Manchester, and we've had students from there coming into India to work. So there's a kind of an international exchange. We have master classes by people from across the globe. So the point is that if you can't go and do something overseas, that person or that particular learning comes back into your classroom. And it's very interesting because we get some of the best known names to come and do these labs in our campuses. Last 2 years, everything has been virtual. This year, we need to see what happens to how international lab is conducted. But otherwise, we've had people coming in to do master classes from overseas in our classroom. The idea is that you get a feeling of how do designers actually work globally. The entire experience of doing a module with somebody overseas vis-a-vis what you would do here is an experience that students actually enjoy.
All right. All right. In terms of the industry exposure during the program, right?
Yeah.
If you could just go back and tell us about the different levels of industry exposure that students get, just so we
So,
get it.
okay. So industry exposures in many ways. So we have industry coming in to come into a master class, which is one of the things that we do. We come into talks with our students. Industry also comes in now to do parts of modules. So there are some parts of modules which we feel an industry person can do better. So that is one. We also have an internship program where students are placed with the industry to go and do an entire internship program at the end of the third year. So they actually go and spend time in this industry and get exposed to the industry that they want to work with. And there are students who might choose an NGO over a normal brand. Some students choose brands, some choose designers. It depends upon what the student really wants to do, but we ensure they get that experience. The idea is that you actually work in the industry as a person, as an not as an employee, but you just get used to the fact that this is how industry functions and that this is what industry expects from you. And we start building it up from the time that they're in foundation, so they start meeting people from the industry. So people come and talk to them, share experiences, start with master classes, start with some talks. And by then they go into the industry for an internship, they've already kind of been exposed a lot to people. So it kind of helps them. So we had students who worked with 100 Hands, an NGO to do work apart on their media and something to do with styling. We have students working with another NGO to just do garments. Our fashion students work with them to actually design garments. Our students from communication design are working with Oppo on a classroom project. So this is actually a serious business. They're going to design screensavers for a brand like Oppo. It's a big thing because they're going to put their money, where their mouth is literally. So these are all ways of getting students to interact with this industry while they're still studying with us. So we really encourage classroom projects, industry projects in the classroom, and our faculty works really hard to get that in so that students start working with the industry norms, understand how the industry actually wants you to work before they even go in for an internship.
All right, sounds good. And the final question I want to ask you is regarding the AI and design thinking for every student. What
Yeah.
is, if you could
So
elaborate on
we
that?
so I mean from this year onwards, technology, all our courses are technology, affixed or suffixed to it because we believe that that's the way to go forward. So at Pearl, if you just think of the way that we've been actually going, we've been kind of investing in what we do. I think technology has been a big part of it. We realize artificial intelligence is here to stay. Students need to understand what is artificial intelligence, what is machine learning, how does one work with it, how does it actually help you to become a better designer, how can you use it as a tool in your classroom. So we tied up with the Royal College of Art to actually do that module with our students. And they did one. The first module was last year, and it went off really well. This year, I'm sure they planned many more stuff, many more things around AI and technology. Our students who are working with, say, communication design are given exposure to the latest technology in their fields. What they are, I will not know. I'm not a communication design person, but I know that they really work with all the new aids and tools and whatever. Our fashion design students are working with the technology called Flow 3D, which is basically how do you virtually showcase clothes without even making them. So it's as good as seeing a model walking a ramp, but there is just something that you have actually made. So pretty virtual in terms of what we do. So if anybody attended our pre-semester learning last year, they would have seen that the entire session was based on technology. So students actually logged on, they created, they collaborated everything around technology, and they came up with stuff. So we believe that this is where we are going to go. This is where design, creativity is going to go. Technology hand in hand with creativity.
All right. I think that's about it for the questions. Sayogita, thank you so much for taking
Thank
the time out
you.
to come here. And
No, my pleasure. And I
yeah,
think if there are parents in Bangalore, I'll be happy to tell you come to our campus. I think you need to come, you need to see what we do, and I think you need to meet people. And I think it's nice if you meet students on our campus because it's exciting when students talk about what they do. It's exciting to meet the faculty who are amazingly passionate about what they do and how they conduct classes, and maybe it will give you a feel of what Pearl is all about. So as
right.
Dion said, seeing is believing. Yeah, so this is one of those, I think. And thank you, Dion, for giving me this chance to come. and
No
talk
worries.
to your
May I ask a
doctor.
question? This is Sanchit's
Absolutely.
mother.
Absolutely.
Sanyota, so nice to hear
Yeah,
such a
hi.
lot about Pearl. Hi. I just wanted to understand, Pearl has been operating for the past 2 years. Has it physically started operating for the past years, or is it?
So we opened in 2020. So obviously the pandemic happened. Nothing. We were not
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Every time the government says open, we open. So when we open, I tell Dion, come and see my campus. So I've actually dragged Dion to my campus. I think once till now or twice he's come because I feel so excited the campus is open, and then again it closes because of something. So we opened again now in January, and we had to close because of what was happening. But the campus has been running now. So despite the fact that we've had the pandemic and we were like the whole country was in this half open, half shut mode, we've been having classes on campus. So if you're in
Okay.
Bangalore, please come and meet me. I'll be happy to meet you.
Yeah, I think we will drop in someday.
Please
Me and my
drop in
son.
Monday to Friday, anytime from 9 to 6. We're all on campus. If you call Lakshmi and you want to fix a time, you're welcome. You want to meet a particular teacher, let me know. And we'll make sure that the teacher, we call you when the teacher is free and not in class. But please do come, and maybe you can just walk around the campus. Happy to do that. So it's been
And
my
also,
yeah, sorry.
yeah, surely coming. And may I know the fee structure of your college?
So that I think I'll have to hand over to Rachel. Rachel is my counselor who handles fees and scholarships. Rachel, would you like to answer?
Yeah, ma'am. Hi, good evening. So, ma'am, it
Hi.
depends on the course if you're looking at a UG or a PG course. So, ma'am, I'll just share my number on the chat box here and maybe we can connect, or you can share your number there. I'll connect on a one-on-one basis and share the fee details. Depends on the course, UG, PG, and also which stream, whether you're going for design, fashion, business, or media.
Okay, we are looking at this animation, so that
Awesome.
would be communication design. We will drop in, Rachel. We'll come in
I think
sometime
why don't
next
you
week.
come and meet, come to the campus, see what facilities we have a look around it. I feel very excited about it. So I keep telling Dion, come to my campus. And he's always busy, but he did come once. But I think it's nice if you guys come to the campus. So if you're in
Sure.
Bangalore, please visit us. Happy
Sure.
to have
Thank
you
you.
on
Thank you.
campus.
Thank you. We'll come.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Dion. Thank you, Lakshmi.
All right. And
Thanks, Rachel.
just for everyone's those are here, what I'm going to do is, if you all have not applied for Pearl yet, when is the next cycle of admissions, Rachel, if you could?
Sure. So we have a next cycle. We have our entrance exam on 26th of March, which is an online exam. So you can fill up the application form. You will appear for the online exam on 26th of March. And then the online interviews will be conducted between 5th to 9th of April.
Right. So the application link has been shared in the chat box and is also in the description of the YouTube webinar. Please click on that and apply. If for all those who've not applied yet, it'll be great if you do. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for
Thanks
the
a lot.
questions. Nice to